Well, hello. Good morning, everybody. And so this is my second Friday of having a live stream in the morning. And so we'll see how it goes. And this morning I have been actually painting. And a friend of mine gave me some, what she thought was fused glass and a box of ceramic. She said, "Do you want it?" And I said, "Well, why not?" So I've been painting little Santa boots. So those should turn out fun. And then also in that box were some little gnomes. So I'm just painting them. I'm not using ceramic paint because I didn't want to have to buy anything. So I'm just using an acrylic, and then I'll just do a sealer over top of it. And hello, Anne. How are you? Good to see you. And we have a few people in here. The Elders Homestead. And she has a video this morning that says returning subscribers, something like that. So I'm not really sure what happened, because I thought she had like 100 and some subscribers, and this morning it only looks like 35. So if you're in here still, I know that she came in early. I'd like to know what's happening. And Jason is one of my members, and we have been friends on YouTube for, I think this fall it's going on 2 years. That is awesome. And I have a new member, Brian at Castle Hives. And I just did a mail call this week, and I showed what Brian had sent. He's a beekeeper, and he makes candles out of his extra wax. And he sent me 2 candles, and I picked out pumpkin spice. Oh my gosh. It's seriously, you can smell that pumpkin spice all through my house. It is just fabulous. So I so appreciate it. And some lip balms. And I have been using the lip balms. And grilling and chilling with Mojo. Hello, how are you? I'm not sure you've been in one of my live streams before, so welcome. Thank you. And I love your little thumbnail. That is so cute. I'm seriously writing you down, and I'm going to check out your channel. Grilling and chilling. So fun. I am just amazed at all the different things that people come up with. Oh, and they say it's their first time. So thank you very much. Janice, how are you? Yvonne, how are you? Good morning. We had rain last night. Now, Wyoming has had not much rain this year. In fact, they say it's the driest summer like in decades. And I would believe it. But last night we got rain. It's cloudy. It's supposed to rain again today. And we're supposed to have thunderstorms this afternoon. So I'm totally excited about that. Totally. But this morning, we are talking about disasters in the kitchen. That's right. Baking disasters, all kinds of disasters. Now, when you get as old as I am, you know you have had disasters. It's true. And grilling and chilling, I bet you've had disasters too. I think everybody has. And the other day, I was just thinking about all those things. Oh, look who's here. Hi, Molly. How are you? She says, "Hi, Zandy. I'm trying to think of my baking disasters." All of us have them. I know we do. And it's just crazy. So I am actually going to reveal some of those crazy disasters that I have had. And some of them you are almost embarrassed, and it's like, oh my gosh. And you look back and you go, did I really do that? Oh my gosh. But I'm going to start with probably one of my number one disasters. And I was young. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. And Anne says, I just had a big one. this past week. You are going to have to talk about that in your chat unless you're going to do a video about that, or do both. And then we'll come over and watch the video. And Anne, let me put that back up, has a video with the most humongous, paint on my hands, humongous tomatoes. It's crazy. And the Green Acre is here. Hello, how are you? And they're saying hi to all kinds of people. So I just love it when the chat is going on and everybody's saying hi. Hi, Laura, how are you this morning? Laura, I'm just about to reveal one of those disasters that I did. And the Vineyard Chicks are in here. If you haven't checked the Vineyard Chicks out, if you're not subscribed to them, these are 3 young girls. And they have some of the most amazing cooking videos, gardening videos. It's just so fun. And you're just going to love them. And especially, girls, I love you all. But Bunky, you have my heart. I just totally love the Vineyard Chicks. Okay, number 1 disaster. As a young cook, okay? That's the quote, as a young cook. Okay, now I'm just married. I think I'm like 18, 19 years old when this happens. We're living in a tiny old trailer. It's 14 feet by 48 feet. So it is tiny. In fact, it doesn't have doors on the rooms that close like this. Everything slides across because the trailer is so tiny. But I loved it. It would take me about 15 minutes to clean the entire thing. It was great. Oh, Gulf Coast Scrapper's here. How are you? He is amazing on the things he finds and makes money on them. Oh, it is just crazy. Janice says, I made stuffed grape leaves and forgot to put it in the rice. See, I do things like that. Ann says, 2 days worth of cooking tomato paste and I can't eat it. Oh no, too much salt. Oh, that is so sad. And you have fabulous tomatoes. Okay, so I'm in the little trailer. It's my very first time of having my parents over as a married woman. And so I want everything perfect, right? So I'm cooking the chicken in the oven. Hi, Marilyn. How are ya? I'll tell you a story about Marilyn in a little bit. Don't let me forget. And I decide that for dessert, I'm going to make strawberry shortcake from scratch. Now, I'm young, and I just assume I have my Betty Crocker cookbook. I look up the recipe for strawberry shortcake, and I mix it all up, right? So I think, okay, this is going to be good, you know? I know my dad loves strawberry shortcake, and I thought, that's why I picked it for the dessert, is because I want it to be perfect. The Elder's Homestead says, I tried to make tomato soup from scratch and canned it. Yuck. It was too strong with the cloves. Oh, I think that can happen sometimes. Cloves can be so powerful. Hello, how are you? And is this the first time you've been in one of my lives, Indie Justice? Let me know. So anyway, so I bake it up. I cook it the way it says. I pull it out of the oven. And I think, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? And what I didn't realize was that when my mom made strawberry shortcake, she did not make it from scratch. She would go and she'd get those little tiny round sponge little cakes. So I am assuming, because I do not realize this is the very first time I've ever baked strawberry shortcake from a recipe. And I think it should look like those little tiny sponge cakes. Well, it doesn't look like those little tiny sponge cakes. It looks like biscuits. So I threw them in the trash before my parents got there. And so we're just going to have, I just decided we're having strawberry and ice cream for dessert. And so we're having the chicken, everything's good. And I say to my dad, I tried to make strawberry shortcake because I thought you would love it, but it looked like biscuits. And my dad looks at me and he bursts into laughter and he goes, Sandy, it's supposed to look like biscuits. What your mom buys is not strawberry shortcake. So I threw perfectly good shortcake away because it didn't look like my mom's sponge cake that she bought from the stores. And it was like, oh my gosh. So I thought it was a failure. I guess it really wasn't a failure, but I thought it was. So, this is what happens when you're a young cook and you don't have any idea and you think your mom did it right and she was just buying them from the store, the little sponge cakes. So, Marie, hello, how are you? How is Western Washington? Is it smoky over there still? Is there lots of fires in Oregon still? Oh, and so my. Well, we all have to learn. We do, but how do you know these things? I just assumed it wasn't like my mom didn't bake, but she obviously didn't bake strawberry shortcake from scratch. And so that was my very first, what I called kitchen disaster, baking disaster. The Green Acre says, mine isn't really a baking disaster. Admittedly, I don't bake much, but I almost burned our house down evaporated maple syrup last year. Oh my gosh. It takes so long to evaporate, doesn't it? Oh, crazy. The Vineyard Chick said, I made upside down pineapple cake for my dad's birthday and forgot to add the sugar. He ate the whole cake anyway. Just to be nice. Dads are fabulous, aren't they? Speaking of not putting sugar in. One time, I was making chocolate cake and I forgot to put the sugar in. Now, it is edible, but it is not as good. And the Vineyard Chicks know this. It is not as good when it does not have sugar in it. It is craziness. But those are just things that sometimes it happens. Now, one time I did do something with salt. I was making watermelon pickles, and you have to put them in a brine. And obviously, sometimes salt and pickles, there's a combination. Laura says she made dill pickles and forgot the salt. Well, I was making the watermelon pickles and the brine is thick with salt, and then you take it out and you rinse it all off and then you make the watermelon pickles. Well, obviously, either one of two things. Either I totally forgot to rinse or I didn't rinse it enough. And those watermelon pickles were totally too salty. And I had sold some of them at the farmer's market. I didn't realize. And a lady brought them back the next week and she says, they're too salty. And so, of course, I gave her money back. But one of the guys that would come and buy pickles and all kinds of stuff from me, he came back, not that week, but the next week. And I said, I have to pay you back for those watermelon pickles because they were way too salty. And he looks at me and he goes, what? He says, I love those. So sometimes it's a matter of taste. The Green Acre says, I made a batch of peach jam the other day and it didn't set up for me. I reprocessed it and still didn't set. So now I have a batch of peach syrup. Yeah, but peach syrup on pancakes, on ice cream. Oh, see, this is the best thing about when you're making jellies and jams. If they don't set, it doesn't matter because you can put them on ice cream, you get on all kinds of stuff. Another thing you could put them on is when you're grilling, just before the meat's done, just spread a layer of that peach on there. Oh, it'll be so good. Or if you're making a roast in the oven and slow cooking, just rub that peach jam over top of it and all that stuff will just marinate in. Oh, it'll be fabulous. If you eat pork chops, you put on pork chops. I don't eat pork, but most people do. I just don't happen to. But I haven't eaten pork in 20 years, probably 25 years. I don't know. Just choices that people make. But I think everybody has stories like that. The vineyard chick said, I just want the grape leaves in your pickles, keep them crunchy. That is so true. And when I make sauerkraut, I lay my grape leaves on top and then weigh it down. And it makes great sauerkraut. Now you might see Nightbot. He puts up all the people that are members. And so Lazy Pond Farms, Kevin is in there as one of my members. And I actually have a very brand new member today. Let me scroll all the way up. Castle Hives. And if you don't know Brian, he has a great channel and so much stuff on bees. And he does some other things, but it's mostly a bee channel. And you will learn so many things from him. It's fabulous. Molly says, when I was 9, I thought I could make a cake without my mom's supervision. This sounds like a good story. Well, it was a disaster. My mom was at work, so I put it in the trash and was hoping Mom would not see it. Haha. Moms know these things, Molly, don't they? It's so fun. Yes, next time you make sauerkraut, just take your leaves and just put it all over. I put a whole bunch of them. Then I weigh it down. And it is fabulous with the sauerkraut. And we love sauerkraut. Marilyn says, I was working in a restaurant when I was 18 years old. My mom's boyfriend ordered a banana split. I forgot the bananas. That is awesome. It's easy. You get busy and you just forget stuff. Now, my story with Marilyn. I have a different channel besides Suburban Homesteader Wyoming, and it's Fused Glass Artwork. And in fact, let me see if I can make that scroll. I thought it was on there. Maybe it's on this one. There. That's my Etsy store. That's scrolling across now, but see where it says Fused Glass Artwork? That's the name of my other channel too. And Marilyn had watched a video and I was making little bird houses. And she said, you should make some ladybugs. And Marilyn, I have to tell you, they have been a hit. I've sold it some on Etsy. I've sold them to some people. Some people asked me and I gave them to them because they were friends of mine. And so, and on Fridays, I do a giveaway on that channel. And so let me switch to that. I do a giveaway on that channel. And so today I'm giving away, making Christmas trees, my top 5 Christmas trees. And see, it's textured. It's only what I call polish fired tack. It's a little bit more than tack fused, but it's a little bit less than full fused. And so I made this one. I'm giving it away. And then the other day I made these ones, same technique. So see how they're textured? I made little tiny candy canes. And so I'm going to give both of them away instead of just one away. So I'll do that video later this afternoon. So if you want to check that out, all you have to do is make a comment on the original video of these and you go into the drawing. You might win one. I'll send it. But each Friday I'm doing one. That's Molly says. I worked in an ice cream shop at 16. My first night I did hot fudge sundaes to go. The people left in their hot car. It was summer. The sundaes melted. They came back and threw them did they throw them at you? Oh my gosh, it's not your fault it's hot outside. Oh, people are crazy. Adrienne, how are you? Farmstead Smith. She has fabulous videos. And she actually has another channel too that she does tech on YouTube. So if you're a YouTube channel and you need some information, her tech videos can really help you out. My soda fountain big picture window. Oh, that's what they threw. Oh my gosh, Molly. I think people are crazy sometimes. I mean, seriously, crazy. I don't understand. While it's hot out, they're ordering a hot fudge sundae, it's going to melt. That's the way things are. Oh, Molly. She says, I don't really do much with that other channel anymore, but what's there is helpful. I think it's helpful. She has a lot of good information. Adrian, will you put up the name of that channel? Because I can't think of it, what it is right offhand, if you would. So then people can check that out. And so we're talking about disasters in the kitchen. Things that, stories to tell, I tell you. So I told you about my strawberry shortcake, which was actually good, but I thought it was wrong, so I threw it away. And I forgot to put sugar in a cake. One time I made cinnamon rolls and forgot to put butter. I started sprinkling all the sugar and brown sugar and the regular cinnamon and everything on there, and I go, there's no butter on here. But I just rolled them up and baked them anyway, because I figured that a lot of times when you're you're reheating your cinnamon roll, you're putting butter on it anyway. So I just baked them anyway. And you're rolling it up real fast, so I think it's okay. Okay, here is Adrian's other channel, Adrian Rose. So if you need some tech help, that's a great place. And Molly says, I was mortified since I was 16 in my first job, but my boss said it was not my fault. And they were mean. That's true. They're throwing hot fudge sundaes at the windows. They're mean. They're dumb. That's what I say. Grilling and chilling with Mojo. I need to go eat breakfast. I will be back again. Hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much. And thanks for stopping by my live for the first time. And I will go over and check out your channel. Thanks so much. Don't you love that? Oh, you can't see me pointing my finger. His little icon. I love that. Very cool. And Molly says, I'm all over it. Because it was 37 years ago. Yeah, Molly. But we still remember, don't we? It's craziness. Okay, let me tell you another one. Now, I love lamb. I do. And around here, we can purchase a whole lamb from people, from ranchers and farmers. And so up by Sheridan, which is about an hour and a half away, my sister lives up by there. There's a couple different farms that I buy from. And we've probably bought 4 whole lambs from them. They don't cut it up for us, but they do kill it and they take the guts out and the skin. They do all that thing for me, and then I just go pick it up. And we get back from Arizona this time, and I'm going through the freezer and I'm looking what to cook. And I say to Joe, how about lamb tonight? Because I have grilled it, I've baked it, I've roasted it, I smoked it, I made soup with it, I've made casseroles with it, all kinds of stuff because I like lamb. And Joe says to me, now we've bought 4 whole lambs. So we've had it for like 4 years that I've been buying lamb like that, besides lamb that I bought before. And he says to me, I don't really like lamb. And it's like, I have baked it and roasted it and smoked it and put it in soups and casseroles and made sandwiches with it. And you don't like lamb. It's like, wouldn't you think that he would have said something after the first lamb? Or when I said, let's buy a whole lamb instead of just buying lamb at the store or at the farmer's market. Don't you think he would have said, Sandy, I don't really like lamb, because I had been buying it. I mean, the whole time we've been married. And he just finally decides he's retired and he must have this freedom, and he decides, I'm going to tell her I don't like lamb. And I said, you could have told me this decades ago. You could have. And you're only telling me now that you don't like lamb. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even understand my husband. And Karen is here in the kitchen with Karen. Good morning, Sandy. I have lots of baking disaster stories. That's so funny with Joe and the lamb. I don't even understand it. It made me laugh so hard I cried that I was laughing so hard. And it's like, seriously, Joe, all you had to do was say, I don't really like lamb. And when we went out to dinner, I could have lamb and you could have something else and I wouldn't bake it at home. And I went to bought 4 different whole lambs over the years because you don't really like lamb. So I'm not sure that's a disaster, but I find it totally funny. Because if you don't like it, just say, hey, Sandy, I don't really like lamb. I don't like that kind of casserole. I don't like, what else he told me after years of me making it was chicken Alfredo. He goes, I don't really like chicken Alfredo. And I said, Joe, I have been making that for decades for you. And you've eaten it and you don't like it? He goes, I just don't really like white sauce and noodles. Just tell me you don't like it. I can eat it when we go to a store, into a restaurant. I don't understand that. I seriously don't understand. Just say something. Marilyn says, I've been making cornbread from scratch for 46 years. And my husband tells me he doesn't like cornbread. What is with our husbands? It doesn't hurt my feelings if he doesn't like it. All you just have to say, I don't really like that. And I won't fix that. Or I'll fix it when you're gone. I tell you, boys are so funny. My husband will eat anything, even if he doesn't like it, just because he's happy he didn't have to cook. Maybe that's why Joe says it. But let me tell you a funny story. Now, Joe used to work at the mines. And, he's retired now. Oh, let's say this first, and then I'll tell you the story. I'm back. What did I miss? How are you? Okay, what I want to know is what was with the video today that you said returning subscribers. Did something happen that, because I thought you had way more subscribers than you had this morning. So let me know. I had to drive my elderly, oh my gosh, I can't even talk. I had a drive-by elderly couple who loved my drive-by last night to bring, they drove by to bring, you brought them potato leek soup. Now she has a video up with cowboy cheesecake, which I am going to make that. And you make this cheesecake and it has jalapenos in it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to try that. It's like cowboy candy, only in a cheesecake. So let me know about your subscribers. And I love potato leek soup. Seriously, I love it. Adrian says, my taste buds change all the time. I will like something forever, and then my taste buds change, and you think it's awful. Well, I didn't used to like mushrooms when I was young, and I love mushrooms now. I think that's totally true, that it changes. And, okay, so I was telling you a story. What was it? Oh, you guys don't have to remind me because now I don't remember the story I was going to tell you. See, when you get older, it just zooms right out. And then you have to go through that filing system in your brain, and it comes back on. So I don't know. I was going to tell you a funny story, but, I lose it. It was up to my husband to cook, I would weigh 100 pounds. Well, Joe always says, because he retired, and I said to him, oh, I remember the story, so he went through the files. In fact, I'm writing it down so I don't forget by the time I'm done talking. He retired, and I said, Joe, since you retired, why don't you make one of the meals each day or make a supper every other day? And he just looks at me, and he's like, you don't like what I cook? And I said, how would I know you never cook? I said, you are a smart man. I think maybe you should be able to cook. But he doesn't want to. And in fact, he's eating a peanut butter sandwich this morning. I said, I thought you didn't want anything for breakfast. I said, I can make you breakfast. And he's going, no, I could make scrambled eggs if I wanted. I said, Joe, I could make you breakfast. Just because I'm not eating this morning, I can easily make you breakfast. No, this peanut butter sandwich is fine. Husbands, I tell you. Adrian says, my taste buds, it drives my husband crazy. He gets so mad. I went on a 3-month tilapia kick and now I can't eat it. Well, I think sometimes things just taste better for a while, and then maybe we ate too much and maybe we just don't like it anymore, and you might like it again in a year. Who knows? Do you think one could make fluffy German pancakes in an air fryer? Now that is an interesting question. Okay, all you guys that have air fryers, what do you think? Could you make fluffy German pancakes in there? I think maybe you could. I think you could maybe. Oh my gosh, I don't think I would try German pancakes in the air fryer. Oh, see, I don't have an air fryer. So I don't know, maybe not. My flop on my channel was the 4th of July in the air fryer. They were called German pancake bites. Okay, so Molly, you didn't think it worked out good. Oh, see, that's interesting. But Adrian's air fryer does baking. It's like a convection oven too. So you have one of those ones that does all those different things. Because I've looked at air fryers because a lot of people have them. It's just a matter of actually counter space for me or cupboard space. And that's why I haven't bought them. So Molly, you're going to have to say what happened. And Karen also says that her air fryer is just a small convection oven. So she thinks you could. So I think it depends on probably your air fryer too. So that is interesting. Molly's isn't a convection. So maybe that's why it didn't work good. So that's interesting. I don't have a convection oven. I just have a regular oven. But my sister has a convection and she really likes the convection oven. But I have seen those air fryers that do all those different things, like 7 different things. So that is interesting. Okay, my story of why I think Joe doesn't want to cook and he doesn't want to say anything. So he used to work at the mine. And so I would make his lunch for him every single day. You know, I'd make it the night before if he was working way early in the morning, or I'd make it in the afternoon if he was working nights, because at the mines, it's a rotating shift. And so half the time you're working days and half the time you're working nights, which is really hard on people. But the thing is, with their schedule, in a month, they only work 14 days. And every month they have 7 days off in a row. So they work a few days and they're off a few days, and they work a few days and they're off one day, and they work a few days and they're off again, and then they're off for their 7. And so he's, you know, all the time he worked at the mine, I always made his lunch. And it's either sandwiches or it was leftovers or whatever. And so one day, one of the guys that he works with is saying, "Does your wife make your lunch every single day?" And he says, "Yeah." And he said, I guess he shook his head and he said, "You know, my wife used to make my lunch. And then one day I made the mistake of saying that I didn't like my lunch. And my wife looked at me and said, 'Well, I guess you will be making your lunch from now on.' And she never made it after that." So she was really offended, which, just say, if you don't like something, I won't make it again. But I think that's why Joe never complained about anything I made, because he was afraid that I wouldn't make his lunch for him. And, you know, he's working a 12-hour shift and he needs his lunch and he doesn't want to make it himself. But it's just crazy. Molly, Marilyn is asking what your channel name is. So if you can do a link to your channel, if it will let you type it in there, that would be awesome. It's Molly Makes. It used to be Molly Cakes. And because she just did cakes and cupcakes, things like that. But now she does all kinds of stuff on Molly's channel. So it is really fun. And she can make some amazing looking cakes. And she's done some collaborations with actually Karen that's in here in the kitchen with Karen. And so they have some good videos. And let me find Karen. See, Karen is one of my members also. She is the very first chef, female chef that Benihana ever had. She's famous. And she can cook and bake and do all kinds of stuff. And she does cocktails and she does baking and she does grilling and just all kinds of stuff. So you should check her channel out too. There's just great channels in here today. So that is awesome. Oh, and then she has some smiles there. Oh, it's not, oh, you went back to Molly Cakes. Well, check out. And you can, what you can do is you can highlight in the chat their name, then go over to YouTube and put it in there and it'll pop up and you can subscribe to them. Yeah, it's awesome. And it says Nightbot can find my post at 11:02 and post again. Well, Nightbot, that is so interesting. Yeah, Nightbot it can do some really fun things for a channel. It's supposed to actually help you if you get trolls that come in. They'll delete the things that they write. So if you don't have any of your mods that day when you're having a live, Nightbot can catch them. And so I really like that. And I like it that you can set it up so like His Way Homestead, they're one of my members. And so I can put in channels and pop them up. And so it has some good points. And I mean, sometimes it gets crazy and it'll say, it'll put you in timeout because you put too many capital letters or too many emojis. And so those things are funny, but but those were my disasters that I had thought about today. So I'm going to let you go because I like my lives being about a half hour. I know people are so busy all the time. And I'm painting today. And a friend of mine gave me some glass. She thought it was fused glass, but it was stained glass. But I did buy a chemical that you can spray on it so I can actually fuse it in my glass kiln. But there was also ceramics. So I painted some little boots. And I'm painting these little guys to go in one of my plants. And so it was fun and it gave me something else to do. But everyone, thank you so much. I hope you guys, Maria, I hope you have a great day. Molly, I hope you have a great day. Adrian and I hope you have a great day. Karen, everybody else that's in the chat still. Thank you so much. And next Friday, I will be back at 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And another fun thing to talk about. I hope you have a great weekend. And don't forget, Fused Glass Artwork. I am doing a giveaway of my Christmas trees this afternoon. So if you make a comment on that video, you go into the drawing. You might win. See you, everybody. Love you.